What's up, guys? Welcome to This Week in the NFL, Week 17. It is our Week 17 preview. It is our last regular season preview of the year. And, every week we talked about how we were getting closer and closer to the playoffs, closer and closer to the end of the year. Now we're finally here.
Yep.
It's kind of crazy. I think I secured officially having a better record on our picks. Barely. It was a close fight. But we only have 3 games different this week, and I think I'm up by 7 games. So, there's no trophy or anything.
Yeah.
So, congrats to me. I don't know. I guess we'll keep track of who wins every year. I don't know. But pretty cool about that, or pretty hype about that. But the 3 games we do have different this week are I picked the Colts, you picked the Jags, I picked the Broncos, you picked the Raiders, and then I picked the Giants, and you picked the Eagles. Mm-hmm. And I was telling you, I think I originally picked the Giants to win. I think I had the Eagles like 13-3 or something at the beginning of the year, which is obviously very wrong. But I think I picked the Giants to win this game because I thought the Eagles would have nothing to play for in Week 17, which is just the furthest thing from the truth now. And I think that's actually one of your games of the week, so we might as well just start off there.
Yeah, so moving on to my first game of the week, I got the Eagles and the Giants. Like we just said, the Eagles are fighting for their playoff lives, which neither of us saw happening. I'm pretty surprised about that.
Like the Cowboys could have, the Cowboys at like week 12 could have ended the Eagles. Like if they just would have won a couple in a row. That's really all they had to do, was just win like 2 or 3 in a row to separate them. But now it's this weird scenario where if the Giants beat the Eagles and the Cowboys beat the Redskins, and they're in. But if both teams win, the Eagles are in. Both teams lose, the Eagles are in. Yeah. So both these teams should win their games, but. We don't know. As I said, I thought both of these teams would be better than 7-7 that they are, or 8-7.
Yeah,
whatever.
7-8 Cowboys, 8-7 Eagles.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna be curious to see how this game goes. It's in New York. No Eli this time. Eli played the last game. It'll be the Eagles' first time seeing Daniel Jones.
Who's coming off his best performance of the year?
Coming off his best performance of the year and Saquon's best performance of the year too. So they're catching the Giants in an offensive stride at the moment. The Eagles are down Fletcher Cox, Derek Barnett, and Zach Ertz potentially this week, which would be huge for them, especially with the Giants having a questionable offensive line. The Giants, they're missing Darius Slayton, which will be big for them because he's been a big dude for them this season.
He's like 8 touchdowns or so. Like he's like top 10 in the league, I think.
Yeah, so. I'm actually pretty excited for him. And then DeAndre Baker was as well. He's been kind of but the secondary as a whole has been very suspect.
Yeah, and Week 17 in general is just a week where you really have no clue who's playing. It's really hard to know. Who's going to win because you don't know who's playing. So,
you don't know if people are sitting people for playoff seeding,
Like, as I said, I find it hard to believe that the Eagles would lose this game with the playoffs on the line, but we've seen teams do it before, and,
And the Giants would love to play spoiler, too.
Oh, yeah.
Now that we're not getting the second pick, I think it's whatever at this point. Might as well go out and get a win.
That is true. Whereas last week, Giants didn't really want to win. This week, everyone's always for knocking your divisional opponent out. Like, I'm sure if the Ravens backups beat the Steelers this week, Ravens fans would be as ecstatic as all. Even though it doesn't really help them at all. But it's just to keep us out. Just to push you down. That's the way the division rivalries work. But actually, speaking of that game, that is one of my games of the week, which is Steelers at Ravens. As I mentioned, the Ravens will be playing their backups. They have the number 1 seed. Locked up, which, ridiculous to think about. That because I did not think the Ravens would be at this point at the beginning of the year. I thought they would maybe be fighting for a wild card spot.
Yeah, I did
so too. I definitely didn't see this coming, but
credit to Lamar.
Yeah, all the credit to Lamar, who's going to win the MVP.
Yes.
But so both of our predictions were wrong about that.
Yeah.
But for this week, as I said, we will not be seeing Lamar. We'll be seeing RG3 in Baltimore. I think the Steelers do open as favorites actually, and they screwed themselves last week, whereas now the Steelers need my other game of the week, Texans-Titans. They need the Titans to lose that game and then them to beat the Ravens, and they would make the playoffs. But if that does not happen, if both teams win, if the Steelers and the Titans win, the Titans get in. If both teams lose, the Titans get in. So, same kind of scenario as Cowboys, Eagles.
Right.
But, I don't really think the Steeler team deserves to make the playoffs. As a Steeler fan, I want us to make the playoffs so we could give as worst draft pick as possible to the Dolphins, just so everyone was for sure wrong about the Fitzpatrick trade. Like, everyone's already pretty sure that it was a good trade for the Steelers, but if we can, just push that draft pick back a couple more spots, that'd be nice. And also, playing spoiler in the playoffs would be fun if we could, take down Houston or KC, which would not happen. I do not think that would happen. But if they make it, this defense can make some noise. That's all I'm saying.
Absolutely. And I mean, I think too, even with like the QB situation, if Big Ben is like at quarterback in this like spot in the season, I think that you guys are poised to make a huge run in the postseason.
I would be feeling a lot better about this if we had Ben. But I mean, I don't even know who I want to start now. Devlin or Mason. I mean, I mean, I said before the show I said last week that you could just combine them together; it would be perfect. And we saw that last week because they both played and they both stunk and were good. So I don't even, as I said, I don't think the Steelers will make the playoffs. My guess is that the Titans will probably beat the Texans and that'll eliminate them, but we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. My second game of the week, moving on, Seahawks 49ers would finally get the rematch between these two teams from a couple weeks ago when they went to overtime and the Seahawks barely got a win out. Definitely one of the more exciting games of the season.
That was a fantastic game.
Yeah, that was a really fun game to watch. Both of these teams pretty much have a spot locked up in the playoffs. It's just kind of determining seeding at this point. Both of these teams are still in contention for the number one seed. The 49ers are currently the number one seed, so all they have to do is win out. The Seahawks need a little bit of help. They have to win, first of all, and then they need the Saints and the Packers to lose this week. The Saints have the Panthers. And then the Packers, I believe, have the Lions.
Yep.
So, not so sure how that's going to go.
Yeah, I would not feel good about either of those games.
Yeah, I don't.
Seahawks fan.
As far as I know, both of these teams aren't sitting people because I think they're also fighting for that number one seed.
And everyone knows how important that first round bye is.
Exactly. Yep. Love to have home field throughout the playoffs. So I think obviously this is going to be a fantastic game. It's the night game this week in Seattle. Always hard to do. Always hard to go into Seattle and get a win, especially at night. But despite all that, I'm going to go with the 49ers.
Really?
I think that they can come out and lock up this one seed.
Because the Niners have been down a little bit.
They have been.
Like, they obviously lost the Falcons, and they just haven't looked as great recently. And, this would be a big win going into the playoffs for them.
I agree.
Because, honestly, think about it. If the 49ers lose this game in Seattle, they go on the road for their first playoff game, I could very easily see them losing. Because I am sure, I do think even if the Seahawks win, but the Packers and the Saints also win, the Seahawks still win the West. They just don't get a bye. So we honestly could see a rematch then, I believe, possibly.
Yeah,
I don't know exactly how it would work, because obviously Minnesota's in there, and the other team that wins their division, whether it's Green Bay or not Green Bay, whether it's Philadelphia or Dallas. So I don't know exactly how it would work. But, if the 49ers do lose this game, I could see an early exit from the playoffs for them. You know what I mean?
Definitely. And that's why I think if they come in and win this game, too, that's the confidence boost they need to get them right for the playoffs.
Completely agree. But moving on to my other game of the week, I mentioned it for a little bit. We have Titans at Texans. And I'm kind of mad at the NFL because, listen to this. So, the Chiefs play the Chargers at 1 p.m., and if the Chiefs win that game, the Texans are officially locked in to the 4 seed, giving them no reason to play their starters versus Tennessee when they play at 4:25. And the Steelers also play Baltimore at 4:25. So, pretty much, if the Texans can wait and see if they need to play their starters or not. And Kansas City's probably going to win. The Texans are probably going to sit their starters. And then the Titans are probably going to beat their backups. And the Steelers are going to miss the playoffs. So, it sucks. I don't know. I mean, it seems like, what are the chances that it would actually be scheduled like that, just randomly? Especially because the Titans and the Steelers are teams that normally play at 1 o'clock, unless they're on the West Coast. So, very weird. I don't like it.
I don't like it.
As I said, I sadly think that probably the Texans will play their backups, and I'll have some heartbreak where the Titans will not beat them, or they'll kick a last-second field goal. That's my official prediction. Titans 24, Texans 21 on a last-second field goal. Steelers miss the playoffs.
Oh, that would suck. That'd be the worst way to end your season.
That actually happened one year, but it was the opposite, where we needed someone to make a field goal. A team was playing their backups against the Chargers. It was the Chiefs. The Chiefs were playing their backups against the Chargers, and the Chiefs needed a field goal to win the game. And if they would have made the field goal, the Steelers would have gone to the playoffs. He missed the field goal. The Chiefs lost in overtime, and they missed the playoffs.
That sucks.
Painful. Couldn't tell you what year that was. 5 years ago, but painful. It's going to happen again. I'm calling it. But with that, moving on to our college games of the week, which this week is just our college football playoff preview, because there's a lot of great bowl games. I think there's probably 15 or 20 bowl games between today. I think one North Carolina's playing right now. Between right now and next Thursday when we'll be recording our next preview show. So we're going to be missing a lot of games that we won't talk about, or that maybe we'll talk about them in the recap show for next week because they haven't happened yet, because New Year's 6 is on a Wednesday. So we'll see how we do that. But the two most important games, the games that everyone's going to be watching, are first off the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl, which is going to be number 1 LSU versus number 4 Oklahoma, and then obviously the PlayStation Fiesta Bowl. Number 2, Ohio State Buckeyes versus number 3 Clemson. Obviously, we're both Ohio State students.
Yep.
We hope that Ohio State is going to win, but do you think we are going to win?
I think we're gonna win.
Okay, I love to hear it.
No, I mean, like, honestly though, I think I'll just take over. So I'm covering the Ohio State Clemson game. I think that realistically this is gonna be the most competitive game out of the two. For sure. Would you agree?
Completely agree.
I think that Dabo's come out and said that his offensive line is the strong point of his team, and Ryan Day's come out and said that the defensive line is the strong point of our team. So I think that it's going to be really interesting to see those two, these Ohio State's front seven and Clemson's offensive line go at it. Obviously, Trevor Lawrence and Justin Fields are two of the best quarterbacks in the country right now. They were the two best quarterbacks in the country coming out of high school. So I'm going to be really excited to see these two play each other again. I don't think they've played each other since the Elite 11 finals in Oregon. Where Justin Fields came out and won that one. So, no foreshadowing or anything.
Yeah, and a little bonus prediction. I'm saying those two go 1 and 2 in the 2021 draft.
Ooh.
I'm thinking Justin Fields and Trevor Lawrence go a little 1 and 2.
I can see it. I don't know what order, but I can definitely see it.
Yeah. I don't know what order either, but I do think that they go 1 and 2. Mm-hmm. And as I said, they both can't come out this year. They're both young, phenomenon. They're both amazing players. Mm-hmm. This will be, I think as I just said, I think as you just said, I think this will be a start of a good rivalry for them.
Definitely good.
Because I think they'll play each other. They'll both go to the league, and I think they'll end up playing each other then. Mm-hmm. But super cool that we get it right now. You think an OSU by?
I'm gonna say OSU by 10.
By 10, okay.
Yeah, we've looked a little sloppier, as the season progressed at the end of the year, kind of crashed and burned a little bit, but I think we got a couple weeks of rest, get healthy. Justin Fields get the knee looked at a little bit, but I think we'll win by 10.
And I do think this playoff is kind of big for Clemson as like a program.
Yeah.
Because everyone knows that obviously Clemson's one of the juggernauts of college football now. Mm-hmm. They've been amazing. I'm not trying to take away anything from them, but this year specifically, a lot of people have been saying they shouldn't be in the top 4. A lot of people have been complaining about their schedule. Mm-hmm. A lot of people have been, So if they do come out and they do, handle Ohio State, which I don't think is going to happen.
Yeah.
But if they do that, I think that would be a huge, thing for kind of like, hey, don't forget about us. We're still the national champs. We're still the defending national champs. So I think, I said it. Dabo's been hyping this game up as like, we're the kind of the underdogs. Like everyone's down us. Yeah. So we will see if they come out and they do good against who I think is the best team in the nation, or whether Ohio State does what I think they're going to do. So we'll see. But the other game, a little less interesting. Number 1 LSU versus number 4 Oklahoma. Mm-hmm. And I think this game is going to come down on the shoulders of Jalen Hurts. Because I think LSU is going to get their points. Mm-hmm. I think Joe Burrow is going to score his touchdowns. And I think the LSU defense is going to give up some points. But it will depend on whether Jalen Hurts can keep up. Because, as I said, I don't think this Oklahoma defense is improved. They're a lot better, but I don't think they're ready for LSU.
They're good in terms of a Big 12 defense.
Yes, and they're good in terms of an Oklahoma defense.
Yeah.
They're a lot better than their defense last year. Mm-hmm. Kenneth Murray's a monster. This defense is better, and I think, though, I don't think LSU's going to drop 50 on them or anything.
I would hope not.
I do think LSU's going to score over 30, and I do think it'll be up to Jalen Hurts to keep this game close. Because it's a 14-point spread, and I think that's a lot of points.
It is.
In a 1-4 game.
Yeah.
But, will it be 35-14 or will it be 35-24? Will Jalen Hurts be able to score and to keep pace? Because this LSU defense has a lot of NFL players on it, but it's still not like a terrifying unit. Yeah, they're not like they have Delpit and they have Fulton and they have Stingley Jr. I think is his name, and they have all these guys, but they still give up a bunch of points.
I mean, they gave up a ton of points to Vanderbilt earlier in the season, too, which is kind of alarming.
So I do think LSU wins this game, and I do think it's between 14 and 21. I'm just not. As I said, big game for Jalen Hurts. We'll see. He's better this year. He looks faster this year. He's back in the playoff. Alabama's not in the playoff. So I give him all the respect. We can see 2 Heisman finalists.
Yep.
All 4 Heisman finalists will be playing in these 2 games.
Yeah,
which is pretty cool. Like those are truly probably the 4 best players in the country.
Half of them are wearing these colors too.
Half of them are wearing the half of them have my jersey on.
Yeah.
Have them wear this number.
Yeah.
But moving on to our 100% total locks of the week. My first one is going to be Broncos -3 versus the Raiders. We kind of talked at the beginning of the show. Week 17 is hard to pick. It's kind of weird. Don't really know who's playing hard. Draft positioning and trying to fight for your coach. It's all a weird place. And I just think that I just like Drew Lock.
Yeah,
I'm going to watch this game, and I'm going to hope Drew Lock does good. I don't think the Raiders' defense is very good. And, I just think the Broncos are a little bit better of a team. I think they come out and get the dub. As I said, it's kind of a weird week. I picked this game mostly just because I liked it more than the other ones. And I still don't like it a whole lot, but it's whatever. And then my other game is Eagles -4 versus Giants. We talked about that a lot. I just think backs against the wall.
Yeah.
Playoffs on the line. I think the Eagles come out and they handle their business.
I can definitely see that, unfortunately. My picks, I have the Chiefs -9 against the Chargers. We talked about that as well.
Yeah.
I really don't see the Chiefs having that much of a problem with the Chargers. The Chargers love finding ways to lose games, and the Chiefs are starting to look like the Chiefs again.
And
the
Chiefs have a reason to play their starters, too.
That, too. Yep, exactly. And then my other game, Bills -1 against the Jets. Like he said earlier, we kind of had trouble finding picks that we liked
games
this
that
week.
I really felt good about.
Not really sure who's going to be playing. The fact that the Bills are -1 against the Jets makes me think that they might not be playing their starters.
Because I'm pretty sure they're locked into that 5 seed.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
But at the same time, I don't know why you wouldn't want to still play your starters as a 5 seed anyways. Unless you're not going to miss the playoffs regardless, I guess.
Well, yeah, they're locked in.
I don't know. I still like the Bills even without...
Even with
their
whoever, I think their backup's Matt Barkley, so hopefully Josh Allen plays. But.
Yeah, hopefully at least Josh Allen plays for a little bit, but I can see the Bills still just coming out with a win here.
Yeah, and as I said, this is probably the least confident I felt in my 2 picks this year, just because, as I said, week 7, you just don't know, there's obviously, who's going to play and who's not, but there's also just what's the effort going to be like. As I said, the Falcons the last 5 weeks have been playing for Dan Quinn. Yeah. And Matt Ryan has said, I want Dan Quinn to be our coach next year. They are trying to win for Dan Quinn. And I'm sure that has an effect on them versus playing for a team where they know their coach is going to be fired. I'm a little worried about the Browns this week. Because I thought about taking the Browns. They're -2.5 versus the Bengals. You think, that's easy money. But... maybe no OBJ, maybe no Jarvis, eliminated from the playoffs. They have getting in fights with their coach on the sideline and stuff. You just don't know how hard they're going to play. Whereas the Bengals, all those guys, it might be young guys fighting for their jobs for next year. They might, want to make Zach Taylor look a little better. So it's just, week 17 is a weird time.
Yeah.
And honestly, I can't wait for the playoffs, though. This week, I kind of want to just skip over this.
Yeah,
week.
just
I just want to get to the playoffs.
Most of the seeds are locked up anyways.
Like I said, the Eagles, Cowboys, and Steelers, Titans are the only 2 teams that could make or miss the playoffs still.
Yeah.
I think there's some insane scenario where the Raiders get in or something, but
yeah,
I don't know about that.
I don't know about that one.
But with that, guys, that is going to be it. As I said, last week of the year, it was pretty good year picking. I feel like we did pretty good. Betting picks weren't exactly where I wanted them, but overall, we're both way over 500, around 60% of the games right.
Yeah, I think I think regardless of how this season goes, I'm gonna be positive with my betting picks. So
there you go.
I'll take that.
Or at least even, right?
Yeah, I think I'm too positive right now. So
fantastic.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, with that's gonna be it. Be sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you next week with the Week 17 recap.
See you.